In the shadows,
As I look upon my life,
in the shadows,
there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life,
in the shadows,
there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams.
Good morning on this beautiful summer's morning. Yay, we are so happy to be back with you this morning. And if you are out there and you are tuned in, just give us a hi and how are you doing? Yes, it's so good to be with you here this morning. So we are actually talking on a very important subject that I think is very close to every woman's heart, and that is parenting. We are talking on parenting. Yeah, how do you parent your children, and this is not just for married people, but you find single women, you find women with children, and this is also for the woman who is about to get married. It is good always to have the info and the knowledge of how to go about in parenting your children. And so that is what we are talking about. So if you have any sixpence to throw in, okay, it's no longer sixpence, but it's a what is it?
5 cents.
A two bob. Yeah, a 5 cents to throw in, or your 2 cents to throw in. Just speak to us on YouTube, and if you did not subscribe as yet, please do that. It will be very nice talking to you on this subject. So for you guys out there, we are so grateful. If you have your mirrors, I'm gonna ask Leanne just to greet you and to say hi to you. And while she's doing that, please get your mirrors out, because our question today is, sometimes we have a face, right? We have an expression when the children makes us mad, so you have some sort of expression on your face. So my question today is, what is your expression, right, when your children are really getting on your nerves, your last nerve, right? So what is your expression? So come on, speak to us, and I will be really, really grateful just to have you chatting with us. So Leanne, if you can greet the people out there.
Hello, Insights family. And yes, it is always good to be on Thursdays. Our co-host is at home, so if she's watching, all the love to you, Pastor Vai. Hope you're feeling better soon. And yes, this is a very interesting conversation because it's so broad and there's so much that we can talk about. So stay tuned and share the podcast if you like. And we would like you to share the podcast and get ready and geared.
Yes. So that is from the two of us. So I hope you are ready to talk with us this morning. I'm just trying to get this thing because this iPad is full of the children's
apps and settings and everything else of the sort.
Goodness me, So now you must now check where is everything. So oh my goodness, and now it's also on. Yeah, that's better. Guys, if you have your mirror, so let's talk about this a little bit. What is your expression, right, when the children works on your last nerve? What's that facial expression, man? Because I know I have a certain look.
Do you scare yourself when you see your
Yes,
face?
oh man. I have a look.
Yeah.
And if I look at you with that look, you must know I am now duck.
I'm done.
I'm nar. Yeah. So I have a bad look. And sometimes I have to watch myself, because with that look.
With my face.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Let me try and find mine. No, but kids do, they really do surprise you. And as the expression goes, they can take the mickey out of you. You were saying one level and the next minute you're just like, am I going to keep it together? So I think for me, I was saying to Joan earlier that I tend to laugh quite a bit because kids can push you to the point where the point of no return. It's like, I'm either going to love you or I'm going to kill you right now. So I tend to, once you get to a place of anger, I tend to just look at the situation and shake my head and laugh at just, what I have to deal with. So I do tend to do that. My kids are also a lot younger than Joan's. So
Oh, yeah.
I tend to maybe glare in company. I do have a bit of a glare, where my eyes go a bit narrow, and just to signal to the kids, you're taking it too far now. And
Yeah.
that's when you can't always talk to them. So the mother will glare and give you the dagger eye.
Yeah, I do that with the grandkids now.
Yeah,
Because
yes.
I don't have children anymore. They're adults.
Yes, but I think with a grown kid, I think my facial expressions might also be modified to more than laughter. So I think that's how I cope with my lot.
Yeah, I have a saying. My children knows because they're grown
Yeah,
adults.
yeah.
With their own children. So
Yeah,
they're
so
no
they also
longer
have their own
children.
looks.
Yeah, so they have their own looks.
Yeah.
So I always just say, really?
Is it?
And I say, really?
Is that what you're gonna? Okay, I like that.
That's what I do with them, so they understand the language.
Yes.
So yeah, this is a very interesting topic, and I don't know. There are different types of parenting. Everybody parents their children or rear their children in different ways.
Yeah.
And I just think that parenting or actually parenting or rearing your children, you have to support them. You have to always be there for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And many times there are different ways
Yeah.
how you show it. So child rearing promotes and supports. It supports not only the child just by supporting financially,
Yeah.
but it supports physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, and cognitive development of a child from infancy to adulthood.
Yeah.
And that is parenting. That is the definition of parenting. So you have to be that support.
Yeah.
I don't know what would you say when you look at parenting, because
Yeah.
to me when this came up, because we're actually dedicating this month for families.
Yeah.
So we actually want to talk on, especially with children, what is happening in the world today.
Yeah.
Because I had a conversation with my friend, and she said, but Joan, what did we do wrong?
Oh, to see what we are seeing now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because children are no longer the same as we used to be when we were children.
Yeah.
You
and
know what
how-
I'm saying? Their
yeah.
behavior is totally different. It seems like there's no respect, and just that
Yeah.
mere, how can I put it? Respect, man.
Yeah, that is definitely something valid, but I think it also depends how we look at that story. I was having a chat with my husband, and he calls this the good old days.
Yeah.
It's when a senior parent refers to their childhood as the good old days.
Right.
Like in the good old days
Right,
we used
right,
to. In the
right,
good
right.
old days we used
Right.
to. But I think there does require a certain amount of effort in trying to understand what our new generation sits and deals with.
That's
They
correct,
are
yes.
exposed to things so much sooner.
Yes, a lot of things. Yeah.
They are basically they are living in such a different environment.
Absolutely.
And because of that, it's actually impacting them as people and as individuals. So what worked for a previous generation is not even
No,
going to
no,
work
it's
for
not.
the new generation.
I fully agree.
So it's almost like it's like an evolution of sorts.
Yes.
But it's an evolution with a child, and an evolution with a parent. It's like we have to learn faster because they are exposed
Absolutely.
sooner.
And they're exposed to so many things, because remember,
Yeah.
the good old days.
Yes.
Right. There were no cell phones.
Yes.
There
We had
were
a
no-
lot less to deal with.
A lot less.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
You took what your parents taught you.
Yes, and that because they were the only voice around you,
Absolutely
and your
so.
aunts and your uncles and,
And
your
now
little
there
community.
are so many voices.
Now the world is talking
Yes,
to
yes,
you.
yes.
And then it's also kind of difficult for a parent, because how does a parent compete with the world?
Yes.
So I think in this new age parenting, managing exposure
Yes.
is possibly one of our biggest tools that we have to employ. Because if we just let them be exposed to everything, we can't be surprised when they start manifesting all those things that they see.
Absolutely. Now with your children,
Yeah.
because they're young.
Yeah, they're young and
Right.
impressionable.
So
yeah.
how do you manage what they watch?
Yeah.
Because I know Evangelique have a certain thingy that she puts on. They can't go into it.
Yeah.
Right. There was one movie, I can't recall the name now again, but it was a very, it seemed to be a very friendly movie with a little dog and so on.
Yeah.
But then afterwards,
Yeah, the doctors came.
it became this little boy had so much anger in him.
Yeah.
And she noticed that with her son, she saw this is what is going on here.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, she checked where the episodes are. So they actually play out what they see.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
That is, and they are extremely impressionable. And while technology is not something that we can remove our children from, because that will be creating
But how can we manage it?
No, we definitely have to manage it. I think for, I'm not a mom of teens yet, and I really empathize with moms of teens in this day and age, because you don't have that much control over their whereabouts and their media exposure, because they kind of do that for themselves now. But where I am, and, I think in having this conversation, our listeners should know that we're not speaking authoritatively as if our way is the correct way.
Yes.
We're just having a conversation about the things that we are exposed to.
Yes.
So for me...
And this is our perspective,
Yes,
right?
our perspective. And
Our
we'd love
perspective.
yours. We'd love yours. So for me, with my kids being the ages that they are, I'm very strict about where they hang out, with who they are, in which company they are.
Yeah.
Friendships are big on my radar. I do look at the friends that they are keeping, and I do speak about friendship often. I tell them they must choose good friends, choose friends that they like and that are good for them. So those are the little coaching mechanisms. And then for online, you do have remarkable tools, and eye products specifically have this mechanism called screen time, where you can take the device that you have given to your child and you can set parameters electronically.
Right.
So they won't be, the device itself won't allow adult exposure, adult content, profane words, and you can also manage their times. They are.
So you give them time, like for screen time.
Yes,
a certain time.
you can kind of allot it or dispense of the screen time.
Right.
You can create the device to
Right.
work during 2 to 5, and then the device stops working after a while.
Oh, you can do that?
Yes, that's how cool it is. It's very, very cool. And I can't imagine, Joan, that anybody...
For real?
Yes. I can't imagine that you can hand over a device to a child without that ability.
But that's happening. I see that
Yes,
happening.
I see that too, and
because
it's
if parents are
devastating.
busy,
Yeah, here
they
we go.
tend to give the phone.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep yourself busy with the phone.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I think that's so detrimental. That is so it can harm the child.
It does harm the child. And where we are seeing these issues manifest is in the schooling.
In the schools, yes.
And the teachers will tell you
Yes.
these children's attention
That's
is a
right.
problem. They can't stick to task. These children's behavior is a problem. And then there's also all this learned behavior that they are
Yeah.
emulating.
Yes.
And the teachers do have a tough time. You have more serious infractions like children with
Bullying.
ADHD.
Yeah.
They are seriously impacted.
Yeah.
And even they have mental impact because of what they're
Absolutely. So
exposing themselves to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's what the eye sees.
Yes.
It's vision
Yeah, it's very...
caught.
Yes.
It's you see it.
Yeah.
So you want to experiment it at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that is what is happening in today's society. There are so many things that our children are exposed to, and it is so important for us as parents
Yeah.
to have the right tools.
Yeah. Definitely. And awareness. Awareness.
To actually, but now, Leanne, that is why I'm so concerned many times with grandparents.
Yeah.
Children who lives with their grandparents, in the sense that
Yeah, that's
what
rough.
do they know
Yes.
when it comes to social media? When it comes to, because that child can be on that phone,
That is very,
or
very
that
true.
device for the whole day.
Yes. Yeah.
And they don't really know how to operate.
No,
the
they
device.
don't, and that is scary. You're absolutely right. It's not even an issue I realize could be a problem, but it is,
Yeah.
because if the child is occupied, then the grandparent will be satisfied. It's like, oh well, they don't seem to
that's
have
right.
any
and they
problems.
don't go out. They don't
Yeah.
go outside.
But
and
you're not managing what the child is
he's
actually
watching.
doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was watching something on, I think it was on YouTube. No, I'm lying. It was on television.
Yeah.
It was on that ID, that cases that is not solved.
Yes.
So I always like to watch that.
Oh, you
those
do?
thing,
Okay.
Yeah. So this was one of the girls, quiet, very passive young girl.
Yeah.
And the parents thought that, no, she's hunky-dory.
Yeah, she's just a quiet child to herself,
She's
yeah.
always in a room, but she's on the device.
Yeah.
Right? And then, unfortunately, she went into a program where these guys actually lured her
Yeah.
to a certain place. That was about 12:30 the evening.
Yeah, and she went.
And she actually went through the window to meet up with these guys because she wanted some sort of socializing,
Yeah, yeah.
Because remember now, the way we rear our children, there's many times that we have, that we are authoritative. There's many times that we
Yeah.
feel that my way, and
Yeah. And also depending on what stage of her development she was in.
she was
could have-
15 years old.
Yeah, so that's
Remember,
a teen year. It's a
that's
difficult year.
It's a
Yeah.
difficult year.
Yeah.
So now you think that the child is okay,
Yeah.
but you don't know
Yes, you haven't
what
examined the truth
what
of
they
it.
are exposed to.
Yeah.
So when this girl went, met up with these people, left all her things, even money on her bed and everything, like the parents said she was going to come back.
Yeah, she wasn't running off.
She wasn't running away.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it was human trafficking. It was guys that actually
That is very
lured the child,
devastating.
and they never saw the child again.
No, that's very devastating.
So that are the type of things
yeah.
that we as parents have to be so careful
Yeah.
in today's society specifically,
Yeah.
due to the fact that our children are exposed to so many things.
No, we
And so
do.
I don't know what parents out there, what are you exposing your children to? Or do you actually check on them,
Yeah. Yeah.
now and then? My thing is also, that is why many times when my grandchildren's at home, I tell them, no, leave the devices.
Yeah.
There's a big yard.
Yeah.
There's a trampoline.
Yeah. Go and
play.
expend your energy.
Go play.
Yeah, and speaking about the good old days, there were a lot of values in the way that we lived our life.
yeah.
It's like you'll find children are deficient in, they don't have enough playtime. This is what the occupational therapists tell us. It says the kids, they have it's like an energy quota.
Yes.
To be a layman,
Yes.
trying to talk about occupational
Yes.
therapy. They have this energy quota and they need to expend of it during
Yes.
the day. But because the kids are going into a classroom, being told to sit down, going to the next class, getting 15 minutes of break time, they're not getting enough time to just play. And play is a part of learning and development.
It
Being
is.
outside, you get to be exposed to natural elements,
Yes.
grass,
Yes.
sun,
Yes.
all
yes.
those types of
That
things.
is why also
They
that's where
benefit
the
the children.
extramural comes in.
Yes,
Right?
and they benefit the children's psychological development,
Absolutely so.
coordination. So,
Oh, yay.
so kids need to do
They
things
need to do it.
that was done in the good old
Yes.
days. They do.
Yes,
It's
yes.
necessary. It's called play learning. They do need to do that. And so you find that you almost have to supplement their playtime.
Yeah.
It's like if your kids aren't playing
Yeah,
enough, they'll become
yeah.
a bit antsy in the
Yeah,
house.
they
Let
do.
them play.
They
So when
do.
you say off the devices, you're not just being a granny.
No.
You're
No,
actually
no.
giving
I
them
know,
good
I
advice.
know why. Yes, because you have to use that energy.
Yes.
that God has given you, man, as a
Yes.
human being.
Yes.
Use the energy. You can't just sit on the device because you're hurting your eyes.
Yeah, and you're
right?
affecting your hormones and your brain functioning.
Absolutely, your brain, and that is why you find such a lot of problems in schools.
Yeah,
as
you do.
as you said, because of that. But I want us actually, if you, I don't know what you prepared, but I have something here that was very intriguing to me. It's the 4 types of parenting.
Okay.
So different researchers have grouped parenting styles, right, into these categories, and they focus on 4 parenting categories. The one is authoritarian.
Yeah. It'll be
The
you
other
like,
one is authoritative,
yeah.
permissive,
Yeah.
and uninvolved parents.
Yes.
So I sometimes get a lot of
Uninvolved parents.
uninvolved parents.
Yeah.
If you look at what is happening around us in the world, then you wonder, where's the parents of these children?
You do. It is a question that
You
you
know.
can ask.
So if we look at the
The types of parenting.
authoritarian parenting, parents of this style tend to have a one-way mode of communication, where the parents establishes strict rules that the child should obey.
Yeah.
But then they don't explain the rules.
Yeah. Do as I say.
You know, it's
Yeah.
like, this is my rules.
And this
While
is
you're
what
in
it
this
is.
house, you
Yeah.
will abide to these rules, right? Without explaining the rules. Why am I giving these rules?
Yeah.
You know, and that I find, I don't know, I think I was brought up like that. I think
But most people
With
of that
me-
time and generation were kind
Yes.
of. It's like
They were.
Yeah, the parents didn't take a lot of time to orientate the children. It was just like, do
Yes,
this, do
yes,
this.
yes.
And many things then also
Yeah.
became taboo. So children kind of had to figure things out for themselves. And then you also had this like deep fear that they had of their parents.
because you're too scared.
Yes, everything was like, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. Or no, I don't want to tell my parents. So you find that
Yo.
they withhold so many things,
Absolutely
and you guys
so.
don't even have that kind of depth in
Yeah.
relationship.
You know, so much so that those years when you go through something, or there's a boy that likes you,
You don't tell your mother.
you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Yes.
Because it's almost like this is the big people. You are the
Yes,
children.
yes.
So you have to just do what they say.
Yes, and
You
they
know what
wouldn't
I'm
allow
saying?
children in adult company.
Yeah,
yeah.
yes.
So there is some wisdom in
Yes.
in some of their methods, but I do agree it was a bit isolating.
yeah, it
was a bit
was. It
isolating.
was.
But then in your categories, you also have the permissive parent, which is the very laissez-faire parent that allows everything. And sometimes you see them
Everything
in the
goes,
restaurant. Joe.
everything
Yes,
goes.
you'll see them and it's like, wow, that child is doing that, or you see a child acting up, or you see a child behaving inappropriately, and you watch the permissive parent, and they feel like, well, I'm letting my child be, and I'm
And that's what they tell you.
yeah, but but I like the way on this particular teaching. I like what brings it home, and it is this. It's like you must remember what your job is. Your
Yes.
job is being
Yes.
a parent.
Being a parent.
Yes.
You have to actually also
Be a parent, yes.
Give the rules, but explain the rules.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
authoritative parenting.
Yeah.
So you have the authority.
Yeah.
But you explain why.
Yeah.
Why am I saying A, B, and C? Why am I saying, okay, girls, this is the time for screen
Yes.
thingy for devices, and after that I want you to go play or read, take a book and read.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
That is actually because a child that is raised with authoritative parents, you will see the development of that child
Yeah.
is high.
And the children don't want, but they need boundaries. So they might not want them, but they need boundaries so that they can even
That's why
protect
you're a
themselves.
parent. Yes.
They need to understand this is who I am, and these are my spaces, and this is what I'm allowed to do.
Yes.
This is what I don't want to be done to me. So you teach children how to go through life.
Yeah.
And so that's the function of a parent.
Yes.
It is to teach a child. So you don't have to be so permissive that everything goes.
No,
because
no, no,
you
no.
are failing in your job.
Yeah, because sometimes you find that people visits with you, right?
Yeah.
And you find the children are so out of line, so
Yeah, and then you can't also
untidy,
parent
man.
somebody else's
so
children.
untidy, jump on your couches and things like that. Now, I am the type of person.
Yeah.
No, I will tell you now, and I don't care if the parents are getting offended, but afterwards I'll tell them, I'll say to them,
Yeah.
no. If the child does that at your house, it's not
Permitted here.
It's not permitted here.
Yeah.
Because my mother used to say, you don't buy every day. You know,
Yeah.
you don't buy furniture every day.
No,
It's
you don't. So you have
expensive.
to look after what
So
you
you
have.
have to look after it.
Yeah.
Right? So you're a steward of those things.
Yes.
Those are little things. It's not that you make a god of it.
Yes.
You know.
But if you treat it
But
well,
if you,
it will serve you well.
Absolutely, it will
Yeah.
serve you well.
Yeah.
So I find that sometimes parents don't even. I sometimes look at mothers, no, and I want them to say, "Don't do that."
Yeah, you
Or some,
you want them to say.
my heerlikheid, hulle kyk daai kind net.
Yeah.
En verder gaan hulle aan met die conversation.
Yeah. But tell me something. Do you think that parenting itself has become different? And do you
Oh yeah,
think
I did.
it's like another thing that I chatted
I
to a
did.
teacher about, and she says that what she sees is that the parents are so busy. That's what she says.
Yeah, that's a fact.
She says the parents are so busy.
Because
So
they
on one
work.
end, on one end you want to say stop being so busy, but
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
end, the parents have realistic issues to deal with. They have economic concerns. They have to keep up with school payments. They have to
Absolutely
They have
so.
to keep up with the bills.
Yes.
So it's
Totally different.
yes, and sometimes you have a career-driven parent, and sometimes you can't afford a stay-at-home mom
Right.
to keep everything
That's right.
flowing and going. So parents themselves are going through a lot.
Quite a lot.
Yes.
Because if you find a parent that's working 8 to 4,
Yeah,
and have to come home with work,
yeah,
because that's what I see. Parents are always on their computers.
yeah. So the parents also need screen time management.
They absolutely, guys, you will never understand how vital that is.
Yeah.
A child sees.
They do, and they see and they complain.
They complain.
And they emulate.
So listen to that little voice.
Yeah,
Because that voices are actually talking to you, speaking
yeah,
from a side
Yeah.
that they look into.
yeah. No,
you
that's
know,
true.
Into a situation.
Yeah.
So I always say, don't be an absent parent.
Yeah. Or
Be there
present
when
in
you
body,
act-
but absent in
in-
every other sense. Yeah, don't do that.
Because you find that parents, some parents then also buy their children.
Yeah.
With money, with
Yeah,
things.
Yeah,
you
the
know.
parent with the dollar. Yeah,
So what are you actually instilling in that child?
yeah, it is, and I have compassion for parents because it's rough out there.
It's very rough. It's
and
extremely.
and their parents have to take care of their mental health and then still be a good example and still provide. So it is the responsibility is racked up quite high. But I wonder if we could maybe shift gears and talk about adult children and adult parents, because I find that this is an emerging relationship
Right.
that also happens.
Okay.
Is where speaking about a generation that perhaps will be more yours, Joan, is when they had much more children, the parents.
Yeah,
And then-
like we were 8.
You were 8, so
Yeah.
you can speak
My
very,
parents had 8.
very intimately about this. And then the goal of the parent was to get the child on their way
That's
to
correct.
marry them off.
Yes.
And they must start their lives and be responsible
That's
people.
right.
But what had happened in the following generation was that you had children not leaving the nest.
Right.
And a lot of them kind of cohabitate with their parents. So now you have adult parenting.
In the house.
Yes,
In the same house.
and that's rough too.
That's very rough. Well, I am staying with my daughter at the moment, right?
Yes.
And I don't know what I'm going to do when they leave, and they are leaving now soon. So I don't know, because I became so used to it.
Yes, because the
It was-
community is also
it was
nice.
so lekker.
Yes.
Just to sit at the table and talk.
Yes.
You know,
and have the
certain things.
company and have the
yeah.
Yes.
And so talking about a lot of other things. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? That
yes.
I normally don't. Will talk to my husband
Yes,
about.
and
you know?
if it's just the two of you in the house, then you kind of do your own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you find that that also becomes a problem when it is too long, because they say two fathers in a house
Yeah.
is not a good thing.
Yeah, and I
two
suppose-
mums in a house are not a good thing.
And it's a bit easier because Evangelique is your daughter.
She's my daughter.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Ashley feels to be in our house.
Yes, and that is difficult.
It's difficult.
I know of a scenario like that within my own family context, and it was difficult after a while because as much as women needs are different, men's needs are also to have my own house and set my
Your
own
space,
rules.
your own space.
Yes, and have the liberty to walk around in my underpants if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And for a man, especially the one that's married into the family,
Yeah. Absolutely so.
there are freedoms that Ashley just doesn't have.
Yes.
Out of decency
Yes.
or out of respect.
Yes,
He just
that's
won't have
true.
it. Yeah. So I think a man must be a man of his own
Absolutely
house.
so.
Yeah.
It is so important because there you actually form this
Yeah.
culture.
Yes.
Your home culture.
Yes, that's
you know,
true.
you form the identity of your children.
No, that's true.
There's certain things that you instill within them.
Yeah, and
that
he has
you
to
only can do.
And he has to build Adams because Evangelique
Absolutely.
is not Hendrix anymore.
Yes,
She's Adams.
she's the Adams.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that is the actual thing. That's why I am so strong on this, due to the fact that I feel that when you are married, you actually have your own little family that you have to look after.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to nurture that family.
Yeah.
And the rest of the others then, siblings,
Yeah.
become secondary.
Yeah.
That is my philosophy. That's my perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. Your own immediate family is now your family.
Yeah.
And that's when you are married with children and even without. Your wife then becomes your best friend.
Yeah.
Your wife or your husband becomes then the
Yeah,
person
they're your
that
partner,
your
they're your-
interest.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And thereafter, the children are there. So
Yeah.
that both of you have to be in agreement. How are we going to raise these children
Yeah.
at the best we can? Because many times we think that money can buy them, but it's not money. It's what you instill within them.
Yeah.
The respect, how you nurture them, how the identity, what are you giving to them?
Yeah.
To say that, my girl, you are the most beautiful child on the face
Yeah.
of the
How
earth.
do you put your
how do
stamp
you-
on it? How do you build identity?
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I
Lee?
do. But I think this scenario is perhaps not isolated, but slightly different. And I recall the same experience, and I must tell you that I did enjoy it. There was a period in my marriage when we were renovating our home that we live in, and then we stayed with my parents.
Yes.
And I loved it. I
Yeah.
really did.
Yeah.
And they also loved it.
Yeah.
And this actually happened twice. So the first time my mom was alive, and then the second time my mom had passed on, and so it also served as support, for
To your dad,
Yeah,
yeah.
to my dad. So it was during the period just after she had passed away, and it really I didn't mind the communal living.
Yeah.
But for my husband, it was a bit different. Because he's also a man that needs to have his own space, and
That's
he's a man
right.
that needs to be the boss of his own house.
And what
so
about the children? Because
they also loved it.
yeah, see, because
Yeah.
it's their grandfather's house.
Yes, but the point was that it's nice always as a temporary measure, because, like I say, it can be quite enjoyable. But I wanted to talk about those adult children that perhaps are not married, that kind of just stay in the house. And so you have this weird dynamic emerging because you are now having to parent an adult.
No,
And-
I
and
don't
that-
believe in that.
But you-
Ek het jou groot gemaak,
That is
ek kan jou
true.
nie oud maak nie.
But you find that this is what's happening because the kids are staying with their parents till like late 30s. And so you find that you have this child, but being an adult. And that's, I think, the dynamic
It's very
of
difficult.
It is
then,
difficult.
because it's no longer that you are you don't parent then.
Exactly.
You know?
But there's something about the relationship that requires you to parent. You have to remind them to clean their room, and you have to do that because you literally can't treat an adult child like you do a younger child.
Really, I won't. I will say, listen, yeah.
Yes.
I'll close that door. To be quite honest, if you want to live in filth, then you live in filth, but not in my house. You're going to have to do what I do. So you see, there again, authoritative. It's like,
Do you
listen,
think yourself?
girl.
Do you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
yourself
yeah,
as
I
an
think I am.
authoritative parent?
I think so. I think so, to be quite honest, because, Ava,
Yes.
she's my eldest granddaughter, right? Ava is so precise. Ava in a room, you can ask Anka.
Yeah.
Now they say Ava got it from me
Wat 'n kind.
because everything must be on its place.
So Ava is puntenerig.
Yeah, so I think it's not bad. It's not a weakness, but to me it's a strength because a house will be clean.
It's definitely a strength. I can
strength.
definitely echo that sentiment, John. It's definitely a strength. We also have a couple of
Yeah,
comments.
I wanted to now go
And we
there.
have some nice teachers on
Very
here.
nice.
Colleen Peaches, which is actually one of the ladies that I was quoting. Good morning, beautiful pastors. My sixpence on parenting. I've always believed that children should get three things: a good education, a value system, and a belief system.
Absolutely so.
I like that one.
That's a lot
It is.
in that one sentence.
It is. It's quite
They need
fundamental.
education.
Yes.
So with education, I think I there's in this research that I did on parenting, I think it's under the authoritative thingy. It says disciplinary methods are used as a way of support instead of punishment,
Yeah.
right? Not only can children have input into goals and expectations, but there are also frequent and appropriate levels of communication between the parent and their child. In general, this parenting style leads to the healthiest outcomes for children, but requires a lot of patience and effort on both parties. So authoritative parenting results in children who are confident, who are responsible, and able to self-regulate. They can manage their negative emotions more effectively, which leads to better social outcomes and emotional health. And also, they have a tendency of education. They want to learn.
Yes.
So they're going to ask a lot of questions. Hence, you must be patient when they ask the questions and give them the correct answers, because sometimes we also just want to brush it off and we don't want to give the answers. So we just give any answer,
Yes.
But that child is listening.
Yeah.
And that child's
like
going to,
sponges.
like the children says, when you want to help them with their homework and you do it a different way than the teacher said,
Yeah.
then they tell you straight,
It's not
teacher
like my
didn't
teacher
say
that.
so.
Yeah.
No,
No,
and you
it
can
is
get
true.
a fit for that. But that child is actually, she listened what the teacher said.
Yeah. No, it's true.
So that is when it is when you have authoritative parenting.
Yeah.
You set the rules, but you explain the
And you
rules,
are fulfilling the task of a parent.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this permissive stuff, you think you're being
doesn't
cool,
work.
it's
It
not
doesn't
working
work.
out for
It
you.
doesn't work.
And then we also have Pastor Vi saying that this topic is very close to her heart. She was also a teacher by trade. Nicole van Heerden, yes, I use Family Link, which is probably another
Right,
app or
right.
device
Right.
that enables you to
Oh,
manage your
okay.
kids. I'm able to set screen time and give permission to apps to download and sites visited. That's the only way.
Oh,
Colleen
wonderful.
Peters again. Kids or teens also do not learn the social skill of making small talk. They'll
Right.
be together in a group, but all of their phones are on because they don't know how to just chat.
Yeah, myself and my husband sat in a restaurant one
Yes.
day, and we just said, he said, Tony, kom ons kyk nou. Let's see
Ja, wat sien ons?
families
Yes.
and even adults sitting together.
On
They
a
now
phone.
came out, they're in a restaurant.
Yes.
Everybody is on their phones. That's why my children sometimes says, because we always said to them, No phones when we are at the table. No phones, no phones. And sometimes my husband's on the phone because he needs to see to something. So then Jesse will say, who's on
No
their
phones,
phones?
no
Who's on their
phones.
phones? So it is important. This is very important,
Yeah.
The small talk. When will you hear small talk?
Yeah, and you can also see that it's a deficit in their development.
Yes,
Because
yes.
the child can now not just speak to anybody. It's not a skill they have managed to even generate, let alone hone in on. So you
Very
find
true.
they can't talk to people and
Yeah.
just make a
Yeah,
friend.
they're unsociable.
Yes, or they've got perhaps incorrect constructs of what a friendship looks like.
Right.
A friendship looks like adding someone on your device
yes,
and
yes.
then following their
That's
stuff like a
correct.
troll and
Yeah.
then liking it.
Yeah.
That is not friendship. It's not a genuine relationship, and you can't build on that.
No, you can't.
So while adults may take it for granted, small talk is a skill that small children need to develop. Because, like you say, it will just lead to us sitting on our phones the whole time. We have Nicole van Heerden again. We tell our children not to be on their devices for long periods of time, but we as parents do the exact same thing. Children don't do what we say, they do what we do. And
That's
just
a
like
fact.
you mentioned
That's
now.
true. That's true. Children watch you. Children can, I don't know whether your children do the same, but they can copy
Oh, they
people
do.
in the church.
Oh, the church.
to the
I
to
was-
the T. They can copy you as parents. You will see that little child, that
Yes.
little girl put
Yes.
on your high heels.
Yes.
You think it's just
No, it's
put
true.
on that lipstick
Yes.
the way you do it.
No.
Put on that makeup the
That
way
is-
you do it.
That is gospel, Pastor Joan. And I'll tell you why. Because one of the things that I also realized about parenting is that it is a learning experience
Yes,
all the time.
yes.
And you learn a lot about yourself.
Yes.
So you have the responsibility to teach the child, but you are really learning a lot about yourself.
Absolutely
You will,
so.
you will see that you must manage your tone of voice when your children are, not managing theirs. You will see about how you treat others
Yeah.
when you see it manifested
Yeah.
in your children.
Yeah.
And it works both ways, the good and the bad. So for the
Absolutely.
good, we want to celebrate it, and we were like, oh, that's my child.
Right.
But with the bad, we also must be much more mindful about what we are carrying over.
Right. What
So-
do you say? So in this, what do you say when a child use gibberish? What I mean by gibberish is swear words.
A cuss word.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When just in a company
Yeah.
and the mother smiles and
What
say,
do you say? You've seen
is
this
that,
happen.
Is that cute? Yes, I've seen it.
Oh no, that's
I've seen it.
devastating.
The mother will say, "Oh, he's so cute, he's so cute." I don't know where he heard that, but it's actually in the house. It's how you model.
It's definitely in the house.
It's how you model.
My son, I had I have this conversation about cuss words in my house quite often actually. And then my son will now come and tell me, this boy, he said a cuss word, and then he'll say like what grade and everything they're in. And it is not an unfamiliar thing for that child. The child that's using
Absolutely
a cuss word.
so.
It's not a surprising
no,
thing.
No, it's not.
It's because it's happening in conversation.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, so we call it having a potty mouth. It's
Yeah.
like someone's
Yeah.
parent has a potty
That's
mouth.
correct.
Or they're exposed to too many things
Yes.
on a screen. It's not a surprise. It's
Yes.
it's just a manifestation.
Right.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that it's in the child's environment.
Absolutely so.
And you do get those situations where your child has a phase or an incident with a cuss word. I'm always reminded of.
Absolutely so, because they pick it up at school, they pick
Yeah.
it up at creche,
Yeah.
they pick it up wherever they go.
They do, and
you
kids
know.
are different. They're
wanna
intrigued by
use it.
different things.
They wanna
Yes,
use it.
Yes. So, I always laugh at this. I don't know if it was a meme or a saying, but it was like a parenting one that says, as soon as you say, my child will never do something, yeah, your child comes nevering
Never
like
is
they
never.
like they never did before. So yes, you don't want to be this absolute in parenting. You don't want to say, my child will never do
no,
that.
no.
Because it happens. It does happen.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
But
and
how
have
are
to-
you responding
You have
to
to
it?
direct them then,
Yes.
to the
Yes.
correct way.
And you have to manage the exposure and you
Yeah,
have to give them the
yeah.
teaching.
Yes, you have to tell them, You can't just say, don't say that.
Yeah, you can't shush them up.
You every time,
Yes.
you have to tell them why.
Yes.
Why I don't want you to use that word.
Yeah.
I like Evangelic and Anka says, that's an ugly word.
Okay.
Yeah. So the children will tell you when you say something.
Yeah, that's an ugly word.
Like a saint will tell me when I say, guys, I have this. Every now and then I'll say, hell
SH.
no.
Okay.
I'll say, hell no.
Yeah.
So saint will say,
It's a mild ugly word.
saint will say, oh, me, that's a bad word.
Okay.
And the others will say, if you say, oh my goodness, so they'll say, that's a bad word because they think you say, oh my God.
Yes,
You know, so then I said, no, I'm not saying, oh my God, I'm saying, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so
So
as the granny, has to explain
I have
yourself
to
all the
explain
time.
I have to explain to them, So that is actually what you model
Yes.
to that child.
No,
you
it
know,
is.
they even also have this say, really?
And then you see
So,
yourself.
Yeah, I see myself in them. So yeah, Violet is saying discipline is security for children. But when one is too strict, children will rebel.
Yeah.
That is so true. And that is what was the first one, that big word? Authoritarian.
Yes.
Authoritarian parenting. That is when you tell the child something. You set the rules, but you don't explain the rules.
Yeah.
And children like that often have negative outcomes. They're angry.
Yeah.
They
because you
they
confuse
tend to
them.
you
Your
confuse
behavior
them.
was very confusing.
Yeah. So I don't know why I can't do it.
Yeah, and then Violet is also saying, try at all times to encourage open communication with your children. I believe in that. I don't like sneaky children, and I don't like the thought in my child's
Yes,
head
yes,
that
yes,
says,
yes.
I can't tell my mother.
That's correct.
It's like I try
So
and
open conversations are very important.
very important.
Children must have the liberty to come to their parents.
Yes,
And
they
speak
must.
about anything.
Yes.
That is very, very, very important. You have to have an open relationship.
Nicole van Heerden says, I am now learning that your immediate family is your main priority. Everyone else is extended, and they cannot be number one priority in your life.
That's true.
That's what you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And we have also Pastor Eileen Peilman on the line. Linda Mdena, a praise leader. Good morning, pastors. Great topic, very beneficial in this decade of soft and gentle parenting.
Yeah, man,
Have you
soft
have you
and
seen
gentle
have you seen
parenting.
this concept of gentle parenting?
No.
Well, it's exactly like it says, but they, on social media, they have, all these little funny memes about it, where it's like different styles of parenting. So gentle parenting means, it's a softer, gentler way. You don't rebuke, you don't shout. It's almost like very characteristic of a permissive parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's like
Yes,
making
yes.
fun of two extremes. It's like
Right.
you're very permissive, you are
Right.
gentle parenting.
Right.
So they have these memes where the mom will start out gentle parenting, but eventually she's not getting any traction with the kid, and then she'll,
Yeah.
I
Lash
told
out.
you. So yes, so she's pointing out that we do have this phenomenon called gentle parenting, where you want to treat your child so gently, but eventually, you just figure, I'm going to do what works for me right now. And then Colleen Peters, yes, we have to model our kids what we want to see in them, and that is, it's parenting is rough. And then Pastor Eileen Peilman, your name is actually a tongue twister, Pastor. Did you ever realize that?
Pastor Eileen.
That's so bad. We had a lady that came for prayer, and the child just started to talk and have a potty mouth in front of us. And the mother was so shy, but we knew where it came from.
Now you see.
Yeah, your children
it
will
puts
expose you.
Yeah, and then you want to be embarrassed.
Yes, you
but
are.
you don't realize.
Yes, your
that
sins
that's
just found out.
actually- Yeah. Het het opgevang met jou.
Yes, that's
you know
what it
I'm
was.
saying? Because that is actually what it is.
Yeah, and then she can't chastise the child because the child will turn around and say, "But mommy,
You
I heard
say
this
so."
from you."
Yeah.
Yes.
You said so.
Yes,
So-
jou
so-
kind sal
en-
jou in die skande
En
steek.
dit sal vir jou in die moeilikheid inbring. I like the okay, with the permissive parenting, right? It says there's limited rules can lead to children with unhealthy eating habits. especially regarding snacks.
Yeah, because you just say yes for everything.
You just go with the flow.
Yes.
You know, that is actually a parent that goes with the flow. So the
Definitely.
child can do whatever. The child can dress whatever.
Yeah,
The child can
everything is okay.
say whatever. You know, can come into your conversations at any time. You know,
Yes.
and it will go. That is permissive.
Yes,
You know,
everything
pa-
goes.
parent- every-
because you
everything
want to
goes.
please the
You
child.
want to please the child.
Yes.
So who is parenting?
You,
The
you-
child or you?
Yeah, it's you actually just following.
Because I find that a lot of parents now bow to their children.
Yes, and also the whole gentle parenting, permissive parenting. You wanna keep the child so satisfied and accepting and
That's
in
a
a
danger.
good mood.
That's a danger.
Yes,
That's not a good thing, because parents needs to know that you have the responsibility to parent and not to
Yeah, they're
to
not
go
your-
with the flow. They're not
Yeah.
your friends
Yes.
per se. And a lot of us, yes, there's
There is a friendship.
there's a friendship.
Yes.
You know, there's a relationship because it's parent and child.
yeah.
You know,
and in your adult years, you enjoy more of that friendship, but
Oh, yeah.
it had to come from a parent first.
Yes. What about uninvolved parenting? Children are given a lot of freedom, as this type of parent normally stays out of the way. They fulfill the child's basic needs while generally remaining detached from their child's life. And that is another thing. Oh, yatta.
But those uninvolved parents, they kind of wake up too late.
Too late.
And then they're like, I don't actually have a relationship with this child. And it's like, yeah, well, you kind of ignored me for 7 years.
When you see the child is hooking out, right?
Yeah. And then
They
you're
can
like,
hook
why
no-
are you doing
uh,
that? And then you wonder why.
And many times, some parents don't know how to come back into the child's life.
Yeah, it's
Because
difficult.
you were absent.
Yeah, and you don't really know the kid.
You don't know what the child's going through. And a lot of children, that's where rejection comes in, because children sees it as rejection.
Yeah.
Children sees it as, you don't care, you know, as a parent. And that's where children take the advice of others who surrounds them. Our friends, their peers,
Yeah.
they take advice from
Yes,
them.
there are voices that become so prominent in
absolutely.
their lives, and it's not
Yes,
your voice.
it's not your
You
voice.
actually have no
It's not your
representation.
voice.
So, which means you can't even see the things that you were supposed to instill. You can't see them in the child because you didn't. And then there was something that I wanted to mention. What was it now? Just left my brain just as I said it. About our parenting and our new age ways. Anyway, it'll come back to me.
Yeah, okay, so now going back to our uninvolved parents, this research says that the child also has a lot of freedom as they decide their bedtime. They decide when they want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And if or when to do homework. So they might not do their homework, or when they feel like doing their homework,
Yeah, they have
will do
options
it.
that we shouldn't have.
Yeah, and screen time with the computer and television, right? They have freedom to this degree can lead to other negative habits, as the parent does not provide much guidance on moderation. And overall, children of permissive parents usually have some self-esteem and decent social skills. Right? So it's guys, it's so important for us to be involved in our children's lives. However, they can be impulsive, they can be demanding, they can be selfish, and a lack of self-regulation. That was actually permissive parenting. But with uninvolved parenting, the children of uninvolved parenting usually are resilient and may even be more self-sufficient than children with other types of upbringing. However, these skills are developed out of necessity. The child have to learn to do things on their own, right? So additionally, they might have trouble controlling their emotions.
Yeah.
That's where
I mean,
they
adults
lash out.
adults even have problems
that's where they
controlling
lash
their
out.
emotions.
Yeah, less effective coping strategies may have academic challenges, and difficulty with maintaining or nurturing social relationships. That is when when you are uninvolved in a child's life, when it is uninvolved parenting. So the child is on their own pace. The child is doing things
They're parenting
on
themselves.
their own. They're parenting themselves because you are not involved in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, and that you find even so with parents that are actually divorced or children out of wedlock, where the mother don't want to give consent for the father to see the child. That is damnable, and I want to really reiterate that that's damnable. You don't know what you instill in that child's life, in that child's identity, because that child will end up one day asking questions like, so who's my father?
Yeah, and then they also sit with the issues.
Then they sit with it. That's why we find adults today with such a lot of problems because of parenting.
Yeah, many things are
stems
find their
from
roots
parenting,
in their childhood years. I did recall what I wanted to mention, and it was this concept of one size fits all. Now, this you can't parent all children the same. You
No,
can
you can't.
essentially be the same parent.
Yeah.
But when a child,
Yeah.
when you start
Different.
parenting a child, you'll see that they are their own people.
Yeah, absolutely so.
And so what's good for one may not be the best for the other.
Absolutely.
And that takes quite a lot of adjustment, because you don't have, it's not like you have to be fair, but you have to be just,
You
know,
must.
concerning this is a softer child, so I can't, go at you the same way. And this is a sturdier child.
Yes.
So, I have to kind of get
Yeah.
my lessons
Yeah.
across the same way.
Yes.
And I think some parents who have problems with kids or go through different challenges, you can't parent the same.
Yeah.
You have to adjust your strategy
right.
for the relevant child.
That's correct, yes.
And if you are a permissive or an absent parent, you think you go in with a hammer when you needed a scarf.
Yeah.
You'd go in with the wrong tool because you're so removed from the child, you can't actually see, oh, this is your
You don't
personality.
even know the love language of that child.
You can't perceive their love language. You're not sure of their tastes and
Yeah, no.
sensitivities. And that is what it also causes, is that you're so far removed that you can't make the best judgment
Yes.
concerning what should I do, with this particular issue that I see manifesting.
And it's so important, because you find that a lot of children, move away from the one parent.
Yeah, because you're
And
not
latch,
connecting with
and
me. Like,
latch onto the other.
yeah,
And many times then you feel like, but why is this child like this to me?
yeah. Why are they
You
why
know
are they
what I'm
rejecting
saying?
me?
Yeah. So it's very important that you must understand
The
that
child.
each child are differently wired.
Mm.
We all are differently wired. And that's why it's so important to know your child.
Yeah.
And you'll only know your child and the child's behavior patterns by being involved in the child's life.
Yeah,
by
spending
being
time with the
there,
child.
Spending time with the child.
Paying attention.
Having that conversations around the table. How was your day? When you pick them up. So how was your day today? And
Yeah.
that alone, will give that child the liberty to talk. Or you see the child as down for the
Yeah.
child is not happy.
Yeah.
You have to ask questions.
Yeah, you do. You have to be
So
interested.
why are you looking so sad? There are certain things that you can pick up from a child's behavior,
Yeah.
to be quite honest. And that is why it's important then to understand that each child
Yeah.
has a different behavior pattern.
Yeah. no,
So
it
that
is.
is very important. I wanna be naughty
Okay.
in ending of the show.
Okay.
So we spoke about parenting in the home, but I want to ask in the church. Ek is nou stout op die, nee. So
Okay.
I just want to ask, when are you a parent to
Another
a
person's
congregant.
child.
Yeah,
Oh,
to a congregant.
Okay.
when are you a parent? Is it when do you call someone your mom and your dad?
Yeah.
Right? Because it seems like in today's society, in the church, that you can choose your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
It's not really like I understand it. You must help me, guys. I understand that when you were raised in a certain church, you came to the Lord at Rock
Yeah.
City.
Yeah, they're
right?
supposed to be your spiritual parents.
And you guide them, and you instill some certain values and the biblical aspects of life
Yeah.
within them.
Yeah.
Right? Are you not supposed to be the mom and dad?
Yes, I do think so. I think that the people that did what you described in your formative years of coming to the Lord, you should regard them as mom and dad. Well, not necessarily call them mom and dad, but they should be your spiritual
They're your
oversight,
spiritual- yes.
and your spiritual parents.
Even though you went and you did your own thing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But there's always that you know what, that people actually installed some values within me.
Yeah,
You know, they were a part of my journey. You know, so you find that a lot of people, because of things that happened, you know, the not so good things that happened,
yeah,
they actually divorced themselves
yeah.
from their spiritual parents, if I may put it that way.
And you really
And
shouldn't
they
be able to do that.
and they find, so if the church is like that, where does it leave the society today?
No, it is true. You do have a resistance to parenting because I think people are very inclined to do their own thing, and you know the spirit of pride is still rife, and it causes us to resist authority and guidance. And submission is still a difficult thing, and not submission as submission, not submission as in marriage only. Submission, we are supposed to submit to one another. We are supposed to submit to God. We submit to a leadership. We submit. So submission itself, which always speaks about an inherent problem with the state of your heart.
Yes.
And with your ability to
That's
do
correct,
that.
yes.
But in terms of spiritual parents, you know, the jury is out on this because people have, they have adhered to it very differently, and you know they've written their own theology on
Yeah,
it.
it's
But I
very
think
true.
I like what Dr. Carl says regarding this. He says you have one set of spiritual parents.
Yeah.
But you can have many
Many
mentors and
yes.
people that speak into your life. And
Right.
I think I appreciate that approach because it's not hard and fast. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
saying
true.
that these are the only people
Yes.
that can have any kind of input and influence over you. And that is true. But surely you can retain that honor, or surely you can retain that understanding that these people have, as my spiritual parents have brought me to the Lord.
Absolutely so.
They have done a work in my life.
Yes,
They
yes.
have done what they needed to do.
Yes.
And if I find inclined to listen to different people, it doesn't mean that they stop being my spiritual
Yeah,
parents.
yeah.
It just means that this is what I can appreciate right now. This is helping me in a
Yes.
different way. There are many sources
Yes.
in the kingdom.
You can
So,
choose a mentor.
Yes,
know.
you can,
Yeah.
concerning
Yes.
different aspects
Yes.
of your life.
And that brings me back to, irrespective of what your parents are,
Yeah.
you know, they might be drunkards.
Yes.
They might be in the world, you
Yes.
know, and don't set a good example to you, but they remain your parents, irrespective of. And hence the respect must go to them.
Yeah.
Because they are the actual people
Yeah.
who actually brought you into this world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
No,
because of them
I
that
do
you
feel
are.
that. It's true.
It's because of them that you are.
Yes.
You know, so it's so important to actually understand that. And I think that is it's also a good topic, and maybe
It is
maybe
a good
my
topic
husband can
because
take that topic a little
it's
bit.
trying to say, and you know what, you can be a bad parent, but it doesn't mean you must be a bad child.
Yes.
So in other words, you do
Yes.
have to accept that this is your parent, and I'm going to be a good child irrespective of whether you are a good parent or not.
Right.
And I think that's where honor lies.
Absolutely so. So yes, beloveds, we came to the end of our show. So we are so grateful that you, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your comments. We really and truly appreciate you. So your last comment to say bye-bye, and then we say ta-ta.
We do appreciate it. Please share this podcast and continue to join us on our Thursday chats. Parenting is a tough topic. It's quite wide, and I think from my side, I just hope that God will grace me in the different seasons of parenting, because it's not an exact science.
No, true.
We learn as we go, but I think employing the principles that God has given us in His Word, it has served me well. And getting support from my village has also served me well. And I appreciate that. So good luck with your parenting endeavors, and may God be with you.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. We really love and appreciate you. Go in the peace of the Lord as you enjoy. Today is actually, there's a heat wave, right? So drink that water and do what you're supposed to do. Stay out of the sun, guys. And that is what I want to say. I love you. God loves you best. Go in the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
In the shadow.
As I look upon my life,
In the shadow.
there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm there.